Well, I have to say, it is really great to see the new management at DC Studios, that would be James Gunn and Peter Safran, engaging with fans in a way that has never been done before. James Gunn actually dropped a whole series of tweets this weekend and gave us a good idea of what's going on, what's coming up, and more importantly, what's not coming back. Let's take a couple minutes to break it all down. Well, it is a new era for DC Films, now retitled DC Studios. Last week, we found out James Gunn and Peter Safran were taking up the co-CEO position at the studio, and they are currently developing their own plan. Now, social media has long been the place where fans reach out to the creators and try to let them know what they want and what they really want to see supported. And over this last weekend, we saw a couple of hashtags start to trend, specifically Save Legends of Tomorrow and Release the Air Cut. Now, I think both projects are pretty great, and it was nice to actually see James Gunn respond to this movement, and more importantly, to see the movement reach out to Gunn in an enthusiastic and respectful way. At least that's what James called it. We have found out a lot about what James Gunn will be doing moving forward, even minus this message. They did reveal the 5 pillars of the DCU, and we actually did a full breakdown on those pillars and what to expect from each one. I've actually linked that down below, and I highly recommend you check that out too. Now, on Sunday afternoon, James dropped a series of tweets and kind of explained what's going on. So I thought we could look at the tweets and see what he said, and then try to derive a little bit about what the future looks like. He started the thread by saying, opened up Twitter at the end of a long creative weekend to see many tweets to Save Legions of Tomorrow and Release the Air Cut, and fan support for other DC projects over the years. The majority of these requests were enthusiastic and respectful. Love that fans are treating him good so far. But he did continue, as the new and first ever CEOs of DC Studios, Peter and I think it's important we acknowledge you, the fans, and let you know we hear your different desires for the pathways forward for DC. Although our ability to interact on Twitter has been lessened due to the workload of our new positions, we are listening and open to everything as we embark on this journey, and will continue to do so for the next few years. But all of our initial focus is on the story going forward, hammering out the new DCU and telling the biggest story ever told across multiple films, television shows, and animated projects. We invite all of DC fandom from across the multiverse and everywhere else as well, into this new universe. We can't wait to reveal more. Now, I think James gave us a ton of information about what's going forward here and what's happening at DC. But first, let's focus on the past for just a second. This was a response to the Save Legends of Tomorrow and Release the Air Cut hashtags trending over on Twitter, and the fact that he says their initial focus is on the story going forward. I really don't think they have any current plans to revisit these specific projects, especially after calling them out by name. Now, there may be other things that are working in the background, and we'll do a separate video about specifically Young Justice on this front. But it sounds like the plans they're pulling together are much bigger than what DC has done before and will reach out in ways that are unexpected by fans. He actually specifically says multiple films, television shows, and animated projects to tell the biggest story ever told. This is pretty interesting to me because what it sounds like is whatever they're planning will involve multiple forms of media, and that is the primary focus right now. It sounds to me like whatever they are planning, they are building some cohesion between all 3 of these legs of the overall DC stool, and I think this is a really big deal. As far as DC goes, there really has never been crossovers from film to TV and animated projects at all. And after looking at the success Marvel has, I think they're trying to take that and move it a step forward. Now, the other thing I took from all of this is how awesome it was that James actually reached back to fans. As a fan of DC, the movies, the comics, and anything they can throw at me, I have to say, the Warner Brothers management over the years has been, well, less than warm. Now, granted, there's a lot of toxicity in the fandom that exists on social media, and maybe this response was because, as he said, many were enthusiastic and respectful. But I do think Gunn has made a major first move in softening the relationship between fans and DC Studios and giving people a sense they are being listened to, and whatever they are working on, they have the fans at heart. This is clearly something that has been missing from several DC projects in the past, and that major thread is probably the best news I've heard so far out of the whole new deal. Now, obviously, whatever Gunn has going on behind the scenes, we're going to have to wait and see. They're not going to reveal that probably for a couple of months. I've said I expect it at Comic-Con at the soonest, but trust me, I truly believe whatever they are working on is going to be big and likely to be something unseen before. I do wonder if we're going to end up getting some sort of crisis level event from all these projects. It's probably the biggest moment in DC Comics, and I would love to see Gunn get his hands on that. Now, obviously, we're following everything DC Studios moving forward, so make sure you smash that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. But until I know more, what do you guys think? What did you think of James Gunn's message to fans over the weekend? And how do you feel about this new management being so much more accessible than the examples of the past? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.